Hi everyone, I'm Mary Curick and I'm with Frontrunners Innovate. Welcome to the Frontrunners Life Lab. So today we're going to be talking about how to verbalize who you need in your network. And this is part of a series we're calling Asset Development. And in our world, the biggest asset would be the network. And that I think is true for just about everyone here. When we talk about assets, we're not really talking about your monetization assets. We're really talking about your network right now. So let's get busy helping you to define who it is that you need in your network and help you learn how to verbalize that. Okay, off we get. So this session is perfect for entrepreneurs, coaches, to help them with clarity or with clients getting clear, because I do know some coaches who basically roll into their coaching practice introductions like I do, like business development introductions. You literally can split that apart and pay, have your clients pay extra for that. And if you're not doing that, you might want to think about that, because probably what you're doing is maybe a couple of introductions that just roll off the top of your head as you're coaching your client. Set that aside, make a note about that when you're coaching them, and then really work into your network, dig into your network and find 4 or 5 more, and then sell that as a package to that client, okay? Business developers, definitely. Sales professionals, small business owners, startups for sure. Nonprofit leaders, because we all know nonprofits are really businesses. Membership professionals for sure. 3 tips that I'm going to share with you in this little presentation, but first we want you to have an idea of why it would be important for you to learn how to verbalize who you need. Well, the first thing that we can say is if you can't say it, you don't know it. If you cannot actually verbalize who it is that you need in your network, the people that you need to meet to bring into your business network, then you likely don't know who that person is. Okay, and so what you're doing is just allowing people to show up. And then you may get a little perturbed that as they show up, they're maybe not quite the type of people that you want to meet. And so you might be putting off some people when they reach out to you on LinkedIn, or when somebody else kind of sends somebody your way. But if you don't have a clear vision of who it is that you need to meet, and that person may or may not be just a client, a potential client, it could be another resource or someone else who has your ideal audience or your market. So you want to know so that you can make that instant comparison and know that I need to speak to this person. And then you need to know how to verbalize that so that you can ask for this gift of referrals, okay? If you know it, you will easily share it with others, and others will either self-identify, and by that I mean as soon as you tell me that these are the types of people that I am looking to meet, then I may say, look, I'm that person. I really need what you're doing. I am looking to expand my network. I am in that same space. I am whatever. I have just self-identified with what you have told me. Now, if I'm not the right person, if you've painted me a good picture, then I might connect you with who you need. 9 times out of 10, because I'm a connector sort, I will likely do that, okay? So I'm going to ask you a question here, and I want you to kind of pause everything and go ahead and really think about it. And if you've got a notepad, jot a note on this. Do you ever tell people who you need to meet? And if not, why? That why is going to be important, all right, as we move along. So pause if you need to, and just jot that note. So as we look at the why, if we want to get over the why, then we want to get to the solution here. And the solution is know the type of people that you need to meet. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they do it? What are their organizations or charities? And what are their typical problems? All stuff you probably did when you were writing out your business plan, right? Come up with 3 descriptors, just like you were typing it into the search bar on your computer. So think of things like occupation and location, their audience, what type of support system that they might have in place. So when you think about that, roll that picture up in front of your face there of who that person is. What does their life look like? Paint me a picture. I will give you this little example. Long time ago when I wrote my book on networking, and I was out sort of stumping it around to different organizations, I ended up in a networking organization, and a gentleman who was a car salesman came up to me and he bought my book. And one of the things that he told me when I asked him who he was looking to meet, he said, I'm looking for people who want to buy a car. And I thought, that's great, but you sell Jeeps, so paint me a picture of the type of person who buys a Jeep. And once he started kind of getting into, well, they're usually young military families, and maybe they're active, they probably kayak, they probably surf, they've got things up on the rack all the time of their Jeeps. They probably already own a Jeep because Jeep people like to buy new Jeeps, okay? So once he started painting a picture, I could get a better vision of that, and probably had 2 or 3 people in my head that I could have sent his way. But just telling me, I want to meet people who want to buy a car didn't quite get me there. And that's where we're heading into next on this. So we want to think about who you need to meet, and that can be the type of person. Like, is it going to be a previous, think about a previous client that you loved working with, or a type of resource that you need. So you want to think ideally about the type of person that you want to bring into your network right now that means the most to you. So if it's a resource, it's a resource. If it's a new client, it's a new client. It could be something way different from that, but think about the type of person you really need right now. Is it somebody to help you build a website? Is it somebody to help you fix some kind of management issue that you've got going on? Are you looking to hire somebody? Okay. Write out who that person is in one paragraph with as many descriptors as you can think of to include. Visualize who they are. I just mentioned that. And what you want to do is the top 3 or 4 most important descriptions that you have put in that paragraph. You're going to circle those. All right. So this is a break right now. So when you do this, you can take a break, pause this, and then come back to it. And then what you're going to do is compose one sentence about that person using those descriptive words, those top 3 or 4 most important descriptions. Okay? So pause and jot this up. All right, so here we are. I wanted to give you that time to go ahead and do that because I wanted to get back to one of the reasons that I think it's really important to get away from the language of I want to meet someone who wants to buy a home, wants to buy a car, is looking, for somebody to fix their data privacy issues. Those types of responses, if I were to ask you who do you need to meet, do not get me anywhere. You need to be thinking about it more like keywords in a sentence, okay? So get away from the language about I'm looking for somebody who's looking to do or who may want. I may not know somebody in my network who wants to buy a car. That's kind of a personal thing. I may not know somebody who wants to put some money into a startup. I mean, that again is kind of a personal thing. People don't usually share. Also, when they're having a problem within their business that needs fixing. So I may not know somebody who has a data privacy issue that needs fixing, but you can paint me a picture of what that person looks like. So here's some examples of the way it should be done. I want to meet impact fund managers in Africa who are working with small businesses. All right, there's your 3 descriptors there. Impact fund managers, Africa, being the location, and working with small businesses. Here's another example. I want to meet global entrepreneurs who are working in the data privacy space and have an innovation ready to go to market in this year. Lots of different descriptors there. Okay, once you start painting a picture, then light bulbs are going to go off, just like in a computer that's starting to pull up the results. That would be what would be happening with me. As a connector, all of this is just going to have me writing names down as fast as I can write them down for you. Okay. I want to meet founders of nonprofits who are growing an online global community with a small team. Okay. I want to meet leaders of healthcare professional organizations in the United States who have a website or a newsletter. Well, that lets you know that they have a presence out there and they probably have a mailing list. Okay. So if you're looking to partner with an organization, then now you're being very descriptive about the type of organization you want to partner with. So, that would be a whole lot different than somebody asking you, who do you want to meet? And you say, oh, I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for business partners. Or even I'm looking for business partners in the healthcare space. That won't get it nearly as close as something like this. I want to meet leaders of healthcare professional organizations in the U.S. who have a website and a newsletter. All right. So here's the fun part. That little, elevator speech that everybody tells you you're supposed to have, that you're supposed to use at Chamber of Commerce functions, at networking events, your BNI, all those networking organizations out there, Rotary clubs, and wherever at Toastmasters, wherever you get together for professional networking. And right now, as we're ending pandemic in 2021, some of you maybe are getting back to some of that, and some of you have yet to do that. So consider this preparation. Add this sentence you've just constructed to that introduction. And why? Simple answer right here. You don't get if you don't ask. Provide a target for people using the keywords that you've just put together. And if you tell, let's just say you met 10 people in a room at a networking event, and you told each one of those 10 people not only who you are and what you do, but I am looking to meet this kind of individual. Can you imagine the feedback you might get? You're going to provide your contact. So if that means you're swapping phones or you're actually giving them a business card, then great. You're going to have the contact information out there. So if they don't think of somebody right away, they go back, they think of somebody, they've got your contact information. And then what you're going to say, and by the way, is there anybody I can help you meet? Reciprocate. That is just sort of the law of the world here. It's graciousness, it's courtesy, it's civility. You reciprocate. It is good business. It's just good business. Okay? So in summary, know who you need so you can verbalize. Don't start with, I want someone who is looking for. Remember, that puts a responsibility on the other person that you're talking to dream up who you're looking for. Do the work yourself. Use at least 3 descriptors. Paint a picture of the type of person so that a vision or a name comes to mind. All right. Verbalize it in a descriptive sentence and add it to your intro. So your self-introduction, add it. And then be ready for them to show up. Because once you get clear, it's really amazing what happens when, when the law of the universe and the law of attraction for some people who follow that, is at work. Once you get clear, they will show up. All right. So anyway, I want to invite you to continue checking out our Life Lab on frontrunnersinnovate.com. And if you have any questions, or if you'd like to talk to me, or schedule a session with me on business development or on this type of networking training, then you know how to get a hold of me on Frontrunners Innovate. Look for the contact button. Thanks. Bye-bye.